Hey guys, Isabel here, and today I wanted to talk about something that I've done for a while on my channel, but kind of haven't talked about in a long time. As you read by the title, and if you know the playlist that I'm talking about, we're going to be talking about anxiety today. This might be a very long video, so I apologize. I'll try not to, but if you're new here, then I guess you might want to stick around to see why I am the way that I am. So yeah, I actually haven't came on here in a while to talk about my anxiety. I mostly don't like to focus on the fact that I have a bunch of mental issues. If you've been here for a long time, you would know that I have a lot of problems. Mentally. I have a lot going up in this noggin of mine, and it's not great. Like, yes, while I am very creative and humorous, I guess, and have a personality and a sense of humor and dark humor or whatever, comes at a price of my brain and how I've been known to overthink everything. I don't even know where to begin with that, because I have been a chronic overthinker for as long as I can remember. Combine that with ADHD, possible autism, and other shit, it practically means that my brain doesn't stop thinking. My brain never has a chance to pause on the thoughts, and that's just a constant clogs and wheels turning in my head all the time, 24/7, and it never stops. Now, with my ADHD, I tend to distract myself as much as I can with reading, writing, making videos, hanging with my boyfriend, or watching shit on YouTube or Netflix, or anything that I can find to distract myself from the terrible thoughts that go through my mind. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And for the longest time, I've had to deal with the fact that I'm gonna have to deal with the fact that I'm gonna live with this for the rest of my life. And I've been working for years and years on how not to think so much, how not to blow everything out of proportion, and how to stop overthinking every possible situation. Because if you know me, or if you don't, my life hasn't been great. It hasn't. A lot of people might think that, or a lot of people might think otherwise, or my family might think otherwise, but no, my life was literal shit. I mean, you bounce place to place from the moment you are born, grow up with 3 brothers who treated you like shit, and having divorced parents, and drama happen between that. It takes a toll. Now, growing up, I didn't realize the amounts of anxiety I would have until now. As you've probably seen from the playlist, or if you haven't watched it, you would see my anxiety progress better over time. But lately, I have discovered that my anxiety is more severe than ever, along with my depression. And it's come to a point where even my psychiatrist is like, yeah, you need stronger medication and higher help than what I can provide for you. Now, my psychiatrist I've been seeing her since I was in high school. I've been seeing her since I was 16. I'm 21 now, so I've been seeing her for quite a few years. So she's known my life and my background and everything about that. And for the first times in high school, I tried 2 antidepressants. I've tried Prozac and I've tried Celexa, but the side effects of both have destroyed me. Currently, I take a anxiety med called Buspirone. It's only 5 milligrams, and I get a 90 supply 90 quality supply. I'm supposed to take 1 in the morning and 2 at night. These have been helping for a while, but the fact of the matter is that when I take them in the morning, it makes me dizzy and nauseous, and it doesn't make me feel good. However, I have experimented on taking 4, which is 20 milligrams, to where it would knock me out at night, where I would stay asleep and not wake up in the middle of the night and stay up, and I wouldn't be anxious in the morning. But the fact that I only have a 90-day supply, it's not great, because I can't just get an automatic refill every single time, because there has to be a wait list of all that. So yeah, I now have to figure out what kind of medication I can get prescribed that's either, again, just for anxiety or both anxiety and depression. It scares me a lot because I hate having to rely on medication to fix my problems. And it already makes me feel as crazy because I don't like medication. But the fact is that nothing else is working. It doesn't help the fact that I'm stuck in this house, and I've ranted a lot about how I felt about this place, and I've talked a lot about it, so I'm not going to go through that again. The main point of this video is I wanted to go over the anxieties that I have, kind of do a rundown of them, and how it makes me feel, because I want you guys to have a better understanding of why I feel the way that I feel, and have other people just understand the shit that I deal with, because not a lot of people do. Not a lot of people understand that there's multiple anxieties, and they all can hit you all at once and make you feel just... I can't even explain it. It's hard to explain, so I'm sorry if I come across where I don't make sense or I stumble over words. Trying to explain the shit that I deal with and go through on a daily basis is like trying to figure out a fucking math problem that's wrong. Where something is like, where the decimal point is like in the wrong section and you're trying to figure it out, but you can't tell what's wrong and you can't figure out how to solve it. It's like that type of shit. I've always put it into a funny explanation where it's like my brain, my thinking of my thoughts is like, you clean out your garage and you find something, or you find that one simple thing that you've like forgotten for like 20 years or something like that. I don't know. I made some kind of fucking joke about it, but that's how like it is for me. Like I've been explaining how I feel and explaining my feelings. I have never been great at, because, well, when you grow up with trauma, you have, when you grow up with trauma and grow up with people who didn't take you seriously or never took what you felt realistically, you kind of self-doubt thinking that anything you say matters. I grew up thinking that everything that I said, every word, every problem that I had didn't fucking matter, because I didn't have the emotional support, I didn't have the stability of my parents or my brothers to help me, because they're all emotionally unavailable. You know, my dad got kicked out when he was a kid, and his parents weren't that great. My brothers are all trash. I mean, like, they all have their own shit, and I think that's one of the worst things, is because my oldest brothers struggle with depression and anxiety too. So you would think they would be able to, help and relate on a similar level, but they don't. They don't, because they think that it's so easy. Everyone thinks that anxiety is just this easy thing that can just flip a fucking switch that you can just turn off. And you can't. Anxiety, depression, any mental health that you fucking go through, that I go through, cannot easily be flipped off by a switch. Every single interaction between every single thing that you do throughout the day, and if you get little sleep, if you're stressed all the time, if you live in a shitty situation and deal with so much shit, it all correlates to that. I mean, how, I don't know how people can think, oh, just don't have anxiety, just don't be anxious, just don't think about it. If it were that easy, nobody would have fucking anxiety. If it was that easy to be like, oh, you have asthma, just breathe. Or it's like, oh, if you have cancer, just stop. It's not that we want to think this way, it's that we physically cannot control it. the whole thing about anxiety is that it's a mental condition, a mental issue that controls your life, that has an obsessively overtaking of your brain and everything. And especially having like to do the therapy, and what I've been doing the therapy, taking the medication and doing like my own personal homework of therapy at home, but doing it alone and having to retrain your brain to re-scramble all the shit that all the trauma and shit you grew up with, thinking, hey, you're a piece of shit, this is everything that you are, to take all of that apart and to heal and soothe that by yourself, and only by yourself, knowing that you're never going to have the emotional support from your family or stability from your family that you never got. That is going to take years. And that is one of the hardest things that I'm going to have to go through, because I know for a fact that I can't rely on my family. I can't rely, like, it sucks. It's the hard truth. And I'm sorry for if any of my family watches my videos, but it's the hard truth that I never got any emotional support, any emotional stability that I ever fucking got. And I'm just gonna have to learn how to deal with that, and learn how to heal myself and stabilize myself without them. And it sucks, because the whole reason for like all my anxiety issues is that I want that. I want that stability. I want that emotional support that I never got from my family. I want, the little girl inside me is screaming. Every day she is screaming out for mommy and daddy, for them to understand, for her older brothers or her brothers in general to just understand, and to hug her and to not judge her and to not invalidate her or treat her like trash. But the fact of the matter is that I'm not gonna get that. It's heartbreaking, and it hurts so bad, but I have to live with that. I have to deal with the fact that I'm never gonna get anything that I got from my family growing up. I love my family, I do, but I don't like them. You can love your family, but you don't have to like them. And that's how I feel. You know? And it sucks, because it's like the fact that, oh, my brothers... It's also funny that the fact that my brothers had flipped a switch when it came to treating me like shit growing up. But now coming to a point to where, even though they still treat me like shit, they still say, oh, I love you, I care about you, I do anything for you type of shit. When it's like, you're lying to me. Because where were you? Where was that when I truly fucking needed it? Where was that when the little girl inside me had to deal with so much fucking trauma that none of them gave a shit? None of them were there for me. You would think having 3 brothers would be all fine and dandy, but it's not. I never got anything. And the fact that they think that them saying, oh, I love you and I care about you, can erase anything that they ever did to me? No. That's not how it works. Anyways, so I'm dealing with a lot, obviously, and talking about past issues and family issues, it brings up a lot. So as you all know, I deal with a lot of anxiety. So I'm going to go through and have a rundown of the anxieties that I deal with and how it makes me feel, and kind of like what I do to try and help myself get out of the situation. So the first one is a really big one. It's my health anxiety. I'm also a hypochondriac. So it's pretty much the obsession with the idea of having a serious but undiagnosed medical condition. It usually develops during adulthood, and symptoms include a long-term and intense fear of having a serious condition and worry that minor symptoms indicate something serious. A person may frequently visit or switch doctors, and counseling and medication may help. So A lot of this, it's just a lot of paranoia and repetitive, just overthinking thoughts of that something could be wrong. Like, so health anxiety, I've dealt with that for the longest time. Another thing you probably do not know about me is I have this deep chronic fear of dying. I don't know how to process that. I don't know how to deal with the fact that one day I'm gonna die and it's gonna be forever. I don't talk about it a lot because it's such a deep, intense fear within my core that I don't know how to be okay with it. And that sucks for someone who's suicidal most of the time because I can't do anything about it. As much as I wish that I could sometimes, I can't do anything about it because dying freaks the fuck out of me, and I think has been ever since I was like 12. Like, I don't know how I've come up upon that, but when you have so many anxieties, the anxiety, you feel such. One of the scariest things about anxiety is the feeling of impending doom. That's actually what it's called, and it's one of the scariest, like, symptoms of anxiety. I can't even explain it to people who don't have anxiety. It kind of literally feels like that your heart just stops. Like, it's one of those things where your heart stops, drops down to your stomach, and you genuinely in that moment think that you're going to die. It's one of the scariest things, and I know that you can't die from anxiety, but the fact that you want to is just how badly it proves it enough. But health anxiety, any pain, any tingly, like, sensations, any pain, normal pains that you feel on a daily basis, you overthink to the fact that, oh, shit, something's wrong. I used to believe when I get pains in my ribs, I'd have a collapsed lung because that's what my older brother went through. He had a collapsed lung. Or any pain in, like, my kidneys or my liver or my appendix or anywhere where there's, like, an organ, a vital organ that can burst or that can, that's not really needed. Where, like, oh, you can take out your appendix, you can live with a liver, you can live with one kidney, like, that type of shit, it freaks me out. And, like, sometimes long-lasting headaches, long-lasting headaches, I'm okay with now because I know for a fact it's either dehydration, low caffeine, or lack of food. I'm kind of used to most of my health anxiety now because, most of what I feel is just a lack of iron. I've talked about that a lot. I'm severely anemic. I have low iron and I have a low blood count, which I have to go and actually retake that test to see if my iron pills are working. So we'll see about that on Monday, maybe, after work. But yeah, it's just where any bad pain that you're feeling, you overthink it to the extreme that something is wrong. And sometimes that's the thing with that anxiety, is that when you overthink it, you can overthink it into happening. So it's like you have the pain in your ribs and it's hard to breathe. You fixate on that for so long, the pain's not going to go away. So most of the time what I do to treat that is I play solitaire. I have, I don't know where they are right now, but I have these, Harry Potter playing cards that I got for Christmas 2 years ago, I think. Last year or 2 years ago. I got them from my cousin, I think. I would play solitaire, and I'd watch funny YouTube videos to kind of distract me. Or I'd just think logically, okay, what happened for me to feel this? What am I fixated on that's making me feel this way, type of thing? Like, is it my posture? Did I do something wrong? Was I on my feet all the time? Because most of the time when I'm standing on my feet all day, I work 2 jobs at a dog daycare, so there's never really a time to sit down. If I'm standing for too long, my ribs hurt, my back hurts, my hips hurt, my feet hurt, my legs hurt. I also destroyed my sacroiliac joints in my back, so that is also unaligned, so it also hurts my hips and my back, which hurts my feet. So that I can kind of realistically come back saying, okay, so that's why. And I have a heating pad all the time that I use, which helps a lot, and taking pain medication or pain reliever, like ibuprofen helps, and like icy hots help too, and stuff like that. It sucks dealing with chronic pain all the fucking time, but you kind of get used to it after a while. So yeah, so that's health anxiety. Another one is generalized anxiety disorder. So this one is more of an intense, ongoing anxiety that interferes with daily activities. So it says the condition has similar symptoms to a panic disorder. OCD and other types of anxiety includes constant worry, restlessness, and trouble with concentration. So a lot of this has to do. So there's pain areas, which there's pain in the back when it happens. Sometimes you're fatigued, lightheadedness, restlessness, and you're sweating. You're hypervigilant or you're irritable, and you have emotional distress. You excessively worry, difficulty falling asleep, headaches, nausea, heart palpitations, trembling, and you have like lack of concentration and unwanted thoughts. So this one is more of as a whole of my general fear of the future, of not knowing what's going to happen, because there's 2 points in my life where I didn't think I was going to be here this long. One of those times when I was 13, the other time was when I was 18. Both of those times I genuinely did not want to be alive anymore, so I genuinely didn't think that I would be here this long. So now, actually being 21 and just now starting to do adult shit, it scares the fuck out of me. Like, I'm driving now. I literally just went grocery shopping by myself for the first time, and, as anxious as it was and as scary as it made me feel, like, it wasn't, like, that bad. There was a point in time where I hated grocery shopping more than anything, and that has to do with my social anxiety, which we'll talk about next, but it sucked. But obviously, socially wise, that one has gotten a lot better than I ever thought it would be. But yeah, my generalized anxiety disorder is more future-based of, I don't know how anything's gonna play out. And I know everyone's just like, oh, just go with the flow, don't think about it, the future's not here, you don't even have to worry, blah, 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 blah. You think if I didn't want to worry about the future, I wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be stuck in this situation, but I am. Like, it's just a thing that I've always done. Like, growing up, dealing with so much trauma, I didn't know where my life was gonna be, I was, and like, dealing so much mentally and dealing with so much shit by myself and not having the support that I got, I didn't know where my life was gonna end up. Half the time, I didn't think I was gonna have a house. Half the time, I didn't, I got bullied a lot, so it was hard, and not knowing what's gonna happen in my life or what's gonna happen like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and like, oh, living on my own, or, if I'm gonna have the same jobs or like my passions in life, and everything like that, where I want my life to go. It's just like, I don't know. At this point, I used to think that I had it all figured out, like, oh, I want to do this and I want to do that, but it's like, now living that life now and knowing how fucking hard it is, because I'm working 2 jobs and I'm still barely scraping by, like, it's hard, and it terrifies the shit out of me, and every day it's scary not knowing what's gonna happen tomorrow or what's gonna happen the next day, and it, like, every day it scares the fuck out of me, and half the time I don't think about it because I distract myself again with everything that I do, like, because I distract myself as long as I can to not get a possible thought in of, oh, fuck, here come all of those worries. That's why I take all my medication and I watch shit while I sleep, and, and so I don't have a moment to think. But having so much anxiety as I do, I can't sleep no matter what, and even if I do, it's never enough. I wake up and I'm fucking exhausted. Working 2 jobs, I'm fucking drained, I'm exhausted, I'm burnt out, it hardly ever leaves me the chance to do what I love to do, like writing and reading, and there's so many other projects that I could have been doing right now, but it's hard. It's fucking hard, you know? And like I have my cat and and seeing my boyfriend, which is always such a nice relief every once in a while to get out of this fucking house. Like he provides that comfort, and being with him, he doesn't make me think so much, and it's such a good feeling to not have to think and to worry so much, because it feels good when I'm with him and when I'm like out of the house. My only issue is being away from my cat. I love my cat Periwinkle to death, but I can't bring her everywhere. I wish I could have leash trained her early. I really wish I could, because then I could have brought her everywhere with me, because she's my emotional support animal, but I just didn't get that opportunity. And it sucks having to leave her every week, but being here for more than I have to drives me insane. Because I can't come back to a place that keeps breaking me, and to a place where that bubble of depression and anxiety is coming from. I can't, So yeah, generalized anxiety disorder is probably one of the hardest ones to deal with. So yeah, so on next one is social anxiety. I've had this one for the longest time. Of course, at first it came out as me being shy and withdrawn from people, and then like, oh, shit. Then when middle school hit, I was like, fuck. This was social anxiety. So everyone knows what social anxiety is. It's for people with social anxiety, everyday social anxiety causes irrational fear, irrational anxiety, fear, self-consciousness, and embarrassment. Symptoms may include excessive fear of situations in one which may be judged, worry about embarrassment or humiliation, or concern about offending someone. I still deal with this on a daily basis when it comes to being an adult. So sometimes I'm more socially anxious when I'm at work. I'm more socially anxious in large crowds of, especially new people. I'm okay around family events now, but I never really used to be. Around new people, I can't do. I mean, at the grocery store, it's kind of hard because I couldn't do self-checkout. And getting my own gas, definitely something I don't like doing, and I've only shown how to pump my own gas 3 times, and I just don't feel comfortable with it. This used to be a lot worse back in middle school and high school, but I would say definitely now it's gotten a lot better, because now I can order my own things when going out to places. I can now walk to places by myself if I wanted to. I used to walk to my boyfriend's all the time, which he lived an hour away, so it was like by walking. So yeah, 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, I would never have been able to literally step a foot outside my house. So kudos to that. But yeah, that one was a sucky one too. So the next one is what I thought I only had was PTSD, but turns out I now have complex PTSD, CPTSD. So it's pretty much just a more complex version of post-traumatic stress disorder. It's just long-term chronic trauma that I deal with, and it's just a lot of stress responses because of, well, living in said stress response. And ever since my mom had moved back, I've been dealing with that. Not, like, I love my mother. Y'all know I love my mom more than everything. Like, but I won't admit, I can't not admit that there's been trauma and shit that I had to deal with that. So it's a lot. And so I'm living in a place where it brings up nothing but all that complex trauma. It's not great. But of course, it's always that same fucking cycle of I'm stuck and I can't go anywhere. I don't make enough money to move. I live in the shittiest city where it's unlivable and unaffordable. It's like the amounts of stress and anxiety that I get that I'm stuck in this fucking place drives me to go lay in traffic. Like living in Portland is one of the most disgusting and unaffordable places that I've ever known. Can't afford anything. Everywhere is such a fucking shithole. Everywhere is unaffordable and it's so fucking expensive. Like, not even two of my jobs, not even both of my jobs alone can fucking pay for a studio apartment, you know? And it's like, I don't have friends to live with. I don't have any other family members to live with that I've already asked. So it's like, there's nothing else I can do. And we can't move here for another year. And I know for a fact that I'm not going to be dealing with it, because if I have to sit through the fact that I have to stay here for another 12 months, I'm going to go jump off a bridge, because I physically, mentally, and emotionally can't do it. The amounts of shit that I've already had to deal with being in this fucking household for almost 6 years now, I can't. I will not do it. I cannot do it. I think I've already talked about the living situation. I don't know if I have yet, but I might have found a place to live with a coworker of mine. I'm still working through all that shit, so I don't want to get into that right now. But, so yeah, living in a place where there's nothing but trauma kind of develops more of a time of being complex trauma, because you can't avoid said place where trauma happens. Simple as that. So yeah, there's that one. So the next three kind of tie into more of relationship-wise. I am clearly not the most stable person when it comes to relationships. I have traits, if y'all didn't know, or know either, all of those anxieties also make it so I have traits of BPD, so that's also fun. So, I don't know how to talk about this. I don't talk about relationships a lot, and clearly, if people were here when I was with my ex, there's been a lot there. Technically right now, I'm in my second serious relationship, so most of the time, so with these three anxieties, they all correlate into one: codependency anxiety, anxious attachment, and abandonment issues. So my abandonment issues also correlate with my CPTSD and my complex trauma. It's a type of anxiety that can cause people to lose fear of the loved ones. So you feel worthless and insecure, or you have a fear of rejection. You feel clingy and codependent, and you have a difficulty trusting others. You withdraw socially, or and sometimes you engage in self-destructive behaviors. So abandonment issues can develop from experiences of being abandoned, rejected, or neglected, especially during childhood. Literally the embodiment of abandonment issues. These experiences can leave lasting impacts that can affect relationships throughout life. So people who have been neglected, abused, or abandoned are more likely to develop abandonment issues. High levels of stress can make anxiety worse and lead to new anxieties, and traumatic experiences can increase the risk of developing abandonment issues. So, yeah, I'm sure y'all can figure out where the fuck all of that sprouted from. My childhood, obviously. So, of course, when you get into a serious relationship, and it's super happy and fun, and you love it to death, and enjoy the other person so much, and they make you happy more than anything. And, of course, once you're really, really happy, then you're like, oh, fuck. Here comes the fucking hard bomb of anxieties. Here comes, so I know relationships aren't 100%. I know a lot of shit can happen, especially in the type of relationship that I'm in. It's not 100%, it can't be perfect all the time. Relationships are always up and down, and it's scary when you've been with someone for over a year, almost a year, and things are great, you start to fear when something bad is about to happen. And, have already had a couple of bad things happen. And of course, any slightly change in how they are or how they feel affects how I feel. And these ones are a lot harder to explain, so I'm gonna struggle a little bit trying to talk about this, so I apologize. So obviously, like, you're afraid that in any given moment they're just gonna up one day and say, sorry, you're not the one that I want, and just leave. Like, things could be fine, things could be good, but there's just this constant worry in the back of your mind that you're not good enough, that, you don't make them happy, or or everything that you do is wrong, or that you ruin everything, or everything that you do is a mistake, that they're just going to up and leave. Because I've had that happen before, with mostly, like, friendships and everything like that. So sometimes you walk around eggshells, and sometimes you take forever and think about what you're gonna say, what you're gonna do, because you don't wanna, or you always ask repeatedly, like, oh, are you mad at me? Did I do something wrong? It's not that the other person is the problem. It's everything in my brain telling me that everything I do is wrong, that I'm worthless, that I will never make someone happy, that I'm gonna be alone for the rest of my life and die alone, and that no one will ever love me as much as I love them. I have such a deep love for, people that I, get intimate with. And again, this is my second serious relationship, so when I love hard, and it's such a shitty thing to feel sometimes, because I feel that way towards animals, and I feel that way towards a lot of things. So to lose said things and to lose said people, it hurts. And I've lost a lot of people, I've lost a lot of pets, and it hurts a lot. But when I love hard. And I know that I'm not perfect, and I know that I make mistakes. And everything that I do, I try so hard to be a better person, because I never want... A lot of people think that people with these issues, we don't do this on purpose. I hate the way that I feel with all this shit. Going back to attachment issues, it's so an anxious attachment, along with all these, it's a attachment style that can cause people to have difficulty trusting others and forming close relationships. They have a fear of abandonment, they need reassurance, they're hyperactivity, they're clingy, they have low self-esteem, they have trouble being alone, and have difficulty accepting criticism. So, for the longest time, codependency, anxious attachment, and abandonment issues. Having to fight off all those thoughts. All of these thoughts that say that I don't deserve to be loved because of how I grew up to be. And fighting off all those thoughts that, oh, they're mad at me, I did something wrong, what did I do, what's going on, they're gonna leave me, they hate me, be clingy, give them space. Like, I hate feeling like that. Even with my current boyfriend, I don't like the way that I feel when it's like that. But that has absolutely nothing to do with him, Logically, I've been slowly trying to get better at doing that. I have, like, little reminders that I put in my notes, and I've been trying so hard to get better with communication, you know, and it sucks, and it's hard, and it hurts, and I try so hard to fight those thoughts that I'm not worthy, or I'm not, or that I'm not, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but that I don't deserve love. It's really hard, and it's hard growing up the way that I did, and it's weird because even though I got no love growing up, and how I love so hard, it's weird. I want to feel the love that I give to other people. I know that I'm not perfect and I make mistakes, but I try. Every day I try to be a better person. I try to, and it's hard. It's really hard. Because when I'm with my boyfriend, everything is so fine, and I don't think for a moment of anything that's bad. We're okay, we're both happy with each other, and we're both happy. But the second I come back here, I worry that, did I do something wrong? Is he mad at me? Should he be alone? Type of thing. That's my brain reacting, not his. Because logically I know he has a lot of other shit going on. He's got other stresses to deal with. And I try to remind myself that if something happens, or if you did something, he would tell you. And the fact that he knows that I'm clingy, but it doesn't bother him, or the fact that I don't bother him, or the fact that I don't have to be sorry, or the fact that, all of this shit. I hate that I require so much reassurance to be okay. I hate how clingy that I feel, and sometimes just the amounts of anxiety that I get between all three of these anxieties: abandonment, anxious attachment, and codependency. That anxiety is so fucking big. And that's all on me. It has nothing to do with him. It has nothing to do with him, It's the fact of how I get attached, and the fact of how my brain has worked for years. And the fact that all my other anxieties jump in to make things worse when you're trying to combat those anxieties. To believe that I deserve to be loved, and that I'm worth being kept around, and that I make him happy, and that he enjoys my time, and that, he's never mad at me, or he's never upset with me, Sometimes it's hard to think of the inevitable of oh, one day he is going to leave me, or, how long will it last, type of thing. I didn't start having all three of these issues up until now, and I'm just now starting to try and heal that. And it's not easy, and even though I tell my boyfriend all the time that I'm sorry that I'm this way. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. You know, the fact that, you know, it doesn't annoy him, it doesn't bother him. I don't stress him out. He's never mad at me or anything like that. It is super comforting. And I know sometimes my brain doesn't get that, and I know sometimes at the moment that my brain doesn't believe that. But right now I'm doing lots of therapy work of how to heal that and how to learn to be because I know I need to learn to be okay to be alone. I need to know to learn that he does isolate when he gets stressed, and I need to learn how to deal with that and be okay and know that I didn't do anything wrong and that I can be okay and that, you know, the world's not gonna fucking end or explode, you know, because anytime I'm a very empathetic person, so I always know when something's wrong. I always have a sense of knowing when something's wrong or when someone's mood has changed. I feel it. I feel it hard. So when his mood is different or when he says something different, that's when the overthinking comes, you know. And it's hard. You know, he's, you know, dealing with stuff himself and also trying to cope. So it's not easy for the both of us, but we're working on it. And we're working on it together, and we both know that we're here for each other, and, you know, even though he's not the type of person to ask for help, and even though I still struggle to communicate, we're still here, you know, and all of these anxieties, they get bad, they get so bad. And sometimes it feels like I want to die, even though I know it's not going to kill me, but sometimes I wish it would. But knowing your triggers and knowing how to heal and getting in all the information you can does help. So I do know better now than what I used to when it came to anxious attachment, abandonment issues, and codependency. You know, a lot of that strings from childhood, and I'm still in therapy, and I'm gonna find better medication, and hopefully hope for the best that I can move in, you know, to this new place, and hopefully I can heal. Anxiety's not easy, and it's something you have to deal with for, I think, literally the rest of your life. And it's hard. There'll be good days and there will be bad. So yeah, I think that's all I have to say. Hopefully my rambling got through. Sorry I got emotional, but talking about this stuff does. Hopefully this teaches you something. I apologize for the long video. Hope you all enjoyed anyways. And yeah, that's pretty much it.